All right, Walker, we're just wrapping up our second lesson here. So went through, worked on lag putting, kind of talked about, for you, releasing the putter head. I think you have a really good pre-shot routine, just making sure that you trust it and are consistent with it, right? So when we had a first few lag putts, you were talking about how, and you caught it. I mean, you were talking about, like, you know, I think the difference between the first and the second one was I didn't take a practice stroke that time, right? So just for your own, you know, player or course management, like making sure you're consistent. And that goes for everything throughout the bag, right? Not just putting. So if you're able to do it with putting, it'll carry into the other facets of our game as well. And then we also kind of touched on, you know, releasing the putter head. We toyed with the idea of trying a different style grip, right? Rather than just the old traditional, going with the pencil style grip. And for you, that kind of helped you with the equipment you have, get the feeling of releasing the putter head. So I think that's a good thing to try. I don't think it hurts at all. And this is the place to do it. And then once you go out on the golf course, it's just trusting what you worked on. That's a big part of it, right? So if you determine, you know, you go out and you practice and you're like, you know, this just doesn't feel right, then I would encourage you, okay, let's go look at maybe a bigger grip, maintaining that traditional putter grip on it for you. So that way it probably would help you take a little bit more of your right hand or the wrist movement more so out of the putting stroke. So any questions? You got an idea of some things you can go and work on this week?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I have a little putting mat at my house, so I can work on that at the house too. I don't necessarily have to come to a golf course to do it, which is nice.
Sure.
Question for you: do you think that on faster greens and slower greens, the difference in my putting from a regular putting grip to the pencil grip that we did, could it be based on that?
Yeah.
Because I always felt that, and I'm sorry to interrupt
No,
you,
you're good.
I always felt that I putted better when the greens were faster.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot less there's a
Smaller
bigger margin for error.
Yeah, I would agree entirely. I'm very similar in that fashion. So, you know, if I go and play a golf course with faster greens where my putting stroke will probably be a little bit tighter, as I would refer to, or shorter back, maybe exaggerated through to get it on line. But it's always tougher, you know, when it's a good player and you go play a course that has fast greens and then you go to a course that has maybe intermediate or slower style greens. Very similar, kind of what we experience out here. So yes, I would say that contributes a big part of it. You know, if I ever have a round like that, you know, then this is just from a mental standpoint, right? Of, you know, if I go out and shoot 74 and I have a bunch of putts I left out there, I don't look at that as, man, I could have done so much better here. I look at it as a fluke. You know, I almost chalk it up to, you know, I'm a better putter than that. And so the fact that these greens are rolling at an 8.5, you know, it's going to change my putting stroke a little bit as far as, you know, how hard I have to hit the ball to get it going, you know, how well do I have to keep that face on line, you know, after I've made impact with that ball versus, you know, if I'm playing greens that are 10.5, 11.5, or 12, it's a lot easier to go and have a more consistent stroke from there because there's just not as much room for error. So you're 100% right in that aspect, for sure.